Last Monday I was on I think it's screwing up his name, the Compassionate Counselor, and which is Dr. Dunbar's group in Buffalo. And, we were going back and forth about talking about women's decisions and how they make decisions, stuff like that, and what they're responsible for. And I was talking to them, and then a young woman came on, and we started going through her stuff. And then this white knight came on, black, but a white knight came on defending her. And after after he was trying to tell me that a 19-year-old didn't know any better when they get pregnant or when they have sex, that they shouldn't be responsible. They're like little girls. And then even the young lady herself says, no, I knew full well what I was doing, and I knew what I was doing was wrong. And I knew I shouldn't have been having sex when not being on birth control, unprotected sex on birth control. So she said that her family and her father had basically schooled her, and she full well knew what she was doing. So he backed off of that. But the key is that he started talking about the manosphere and how supposedly ineffective it was and what it stood for and how he didn't like it. So I asked him what he didn't like about it. And he says, at first he thought, brothers are speaking out, they're getting their perspectives out there, they're trying to reach out to each other and support each other. And he said it was good that brothers had a voice, right? And then, but he said after a while, he gave this, where he held up his nose and pinched his nose like a stench. And he said, but there's elements I don't like about it that I can't mess with it. So I said, okay. I said, even though it grows, I said, what don't you like about it? He talks about all the backbiting and the doxing and the arguing and the catcalling and all this screaming and throwing chairs and stuff like that. And we went back and forth with that for about an hour. And I was defending the manosphere, that even though it has issues, and it goes through these issues like maybe twice a year, just like the equinoxes, once during the spring and then once during the fall, which is what we're going through. It should be over. I guess summertime is dying down. But I said it goes through this all the time. And he said, would he understand why? How come brothers just can't get on one accord and work together? I said, well, because they're stray cats and there is no leader. There is no gates to keep. So I'm defending the manosphere. And we're going at it. We're going at it for like a couple hours. And then this weekend, man, with these people like Truth As I Know It in the background, and then the Brain Trust group, and then this SBE stuff that keeps popping up. So when I hold a live and say, what is SBE? And then it descends into chair throwing, hollering and screaming and that kind of stuff, and trying to get stuff out. So even though me and Ed were real cool, and Ed been my ride or die man for years, even when I was in MGTOW, Ed been my ride or die for years, right? I had to drop Ed because I wanted to give him a full hearing. And as long as Ed was yelling, I couldn't get a full hearing, even though Ed disagreed with him. Ed was right. He was probably right. But the thing is, that wasn't the point. I wanted to give him a full hearing. So I did give him a full hearing. And we put him in a chair. He was questioned. What does it mean? What's your philosophy? What are your points? And we went through all of that stuff. People might not like how we went through it, but the thing is, he had a chance to be questioned and respond, because it's not a forum for where you can just lecture for 30 minutes or 40 minutes. It's not that. I have a question. What is it? What is it? What is it you espouse? And we go through it detailed, what it is and why you actually believe it. And basically at the end of it came out to be a nothing burger. Came out to be that it is not a fully functioning philosophy. And what it really is, about shame, blame, explain, is basically pickup or semi-pickup or whatever kind of stuff that they're doing. Well, hoes ain't never going to change because hoes don't feel shame. How do you know? Well, hoes ain't going to never change. I'll be long dead before chicks change. How do you know? What model do you have? Well, I don't. It's based on my, and he's not that old. He's not like he's 100. He's 30. You haven't even lived long enough. But you think that your word is gospel, and guess what? It's not. That's what we found out. It's not a full-fledged philosophy. So they've been throwing it around like it's a full-fledged philosophy and it's something to be believed in. But when it's questioned, when it's actually put in the light of day, it doesn't hold up. And that's what the brother was talking about last week. Why the shit doesn't hold up. And that's where the chair throwing starts. And the anti-intellectualism starts, right? That's where the stuff starts. And this is what people on the outside see. This is the part that they focus in on. They don't focus in. People on the inside don't even focus in on the good parts. They can't even acknowledge because you're so focused on navel gazing and what's wrong instead of trying to figure out what's right and what's progressing. Same thing last night on a black man being brutally honest. You can actually go. I'll put the link in the description. Go back and look at it. It's smoke, okay, but we're supposed to be talking about Pearl and the so-called white savior. That's what it's supposed to be about. And for almost an hour and a half, because I was listening in an hour and a half, shows basically going nowhere, right? So you got 17 people watching, and the show's going stagnant. You know, I can hear it going stagnant. So I'm coming in to support the brother, right? I know if whatever reason, I know if I come on, then people are more likely to watch and come over and stay and support. More likely to do that. So I come in and support the brother. And I don't mind talking. I don't even mind being questioned. I don't. And sometimes people get loud. I can deal with that to a point. And I have dealt with that to a point. Every time I go someplace, man, you got 4 people coming at you, right? All at once. And they all want to be answered right away. Somebody asks you a question, you start answering, and you have a dialogue, and then somebody else wants to answer for that person and have a dialogue. And then you're going back and forth. Say, wait a minute. Why don't you let the brother that asked the question answer? Because he's the one that I'm having a conversation with. If you want to be next, you can be next. And then you have people screaming in the background, right? Because they know that the logic doesn't hold up. So they try to run interference. And then when you question them on their logic, it goes flat. It goes nowhere. But they continually throw chairs. They throw chairs. They argue and scream. They threaten to fight. They do all this negative stuff. This negative stuff. Because guess what? The philosophy is built on nothing. It's built on nothing. It doesn't hold up. It doesn't hold water. It doesn't fly. Their approach doesn't fly, which is why it never picks up any traction. So instead of blaming themselves, guess who they blame? They blame you. They blame the audience. Instead of having a logical, rational, well-mannered conversation, which is not that hard, turns into a fist fight. Really, an online fist fight with people screaming and hollering at each other for nothing. Now, I popped up on Kev's, and it was an hour and a half. Nobody showed up. Nobody said anything. Nobody even typed. I popped on Kev. Within 5 minutes, you had 4 people pop up, which is fine. Did they pop up to fill in the conversation? No. They come in to fight. They come in to argue. They come in to dispute. And this was focused in. It wasn't just mine. It had a sidebar. It would start up a whole another stream of SB. The same shit. And the people that talking about what they want the space to be, they don't even create it. Well, we talk about skills and abilities and stuff like that. Yeah, but half the time you're talking about what somebody else is saying. Instead of focusing and making your product better. Instead of understanding where the space is going and what's on the table. You're so focused on being backbiting other people, being jealous of other people, thinking negative of other people, and you don't even see the blessings that are happening. I'm talking to PhDs, I'm talking to people that are talking to politicians and stuff like that on the low. People so focused on wanting to be right, they want to lead the space. And guess what? If you had the ability to lead the space, you would lead it. People follow people that are leaders. And leaders always the good ones concentrate on the needs of the people that are following them. The good ones. So I'm listening to all these arguments. I'm listening to this SBE argument. I'm listening to this pearly argument that keeps going nowhere. And people are so emotionally invested in these things mostly that they can't see what the truth is. The truth is obvious. This as a sidebar. Pearl is doing exactly what I thought she would do, down to the letter. Everything I said about Pearl, how she got traction, who's behind her, who's pulling her up, and what she's trying to transition to, it's all out there. Down to every little step. You can actually see her transitioning to where I thought she would actually go and why. But do people take notice of it? No, because they're so focused on you being wrong. It's not about what's happening. It's not about the truth. They want to prove you wrong. It's not about accomplishing anything for black men and black boys. That's not the issue. The issue is the way they really want to make the black manosphere what's left of it, or what it is, because it's still growing. It's not even what's left of it. They want to give it a bad name. They want to give it a bad light because it has so many eyeballs on it. People said, I don't want to be part of it. It doesn't matter whether you want to be part of it or not. At this point, it doesn't matter. Basically, like I said, the black manosphere is basically has reached escape velocity. It's gone already. Even if you killed it tomorrow, it just folded up its tent and went away. What is put out there can't be taken back. It's going to keep propagating. It's got a life of its own. Well, with Pearl and this woman carries the message. What about this woman carry? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Is the message getting out there? Is the message being effective and actually salting the consciousness of the masses, of the people that have to make the decisions, of the people that have to correct the wrongs? A lot of these guys would rather prove that they're right in their bullshit philosophy. And I'm going to say bullshit philosophy because 90% of what they're talking about is bullshit. And I'm going to say right here, it's bullshit. And that's how come I wanted him to talk. That's why I wanted him to question. That's how come I silenced a lot of people. Because the whole panel was not about this one guy, even though I said, what's SBE? And I kept asking, what is SBE? What's your philosophy? He had to think about it because he never thought about it as a philosophy. Like Ed was saying, all it is a shaming tactic. Well, what about Kevin? Kevin was trying to save these hoes. No, he wasn't. Yes, he was. No, he wasn't. He told you what it was about. Trying to qualify wives for his what? For his mix, for his high value men. He told them what the qualifications were. If you don't fit it, then you don't qualify for these guys. Point blank, period. And guess who told them that they were going to try? I did. Well, I know. Well, I know what he's doing. And in the meantime, guess what? He's going to make some money. That's what he did. Kudos to him. He got some wealth and fame out of it. He didn't live long enough to actually enjoy it, but the thing is, that's what he got out of it. His family will enjoy his wealth and fame. The thing is, 90% of the stuff that goes on here is bullshit. And it's the bullshit that's plugging up the works to getting things done. Y'all so focused on bullshit that the things that are getting done are getting clogged up. Slowing things down. Even though you can't stop it, you're slowing it down. So all these smart guys, all these brilliant guys that are into politics and they know what's going on, they should know what's going on. Even though you tell them what's going on, you can actually point it out to them. Like Rael last night, he's talking about tech layoffs. I told people months ago, a year ago, that the tech layoffs were coming. Why? Because they're raising interest rates. Of course they're going to lay off people in tech because tech is highly leveraged. A lot of people in tech work for startups. Startups don't make money. Startups are running off of borrowed money. They have a high burn rate of cash, including Amazon, Microsoft. Google, I can say, is the only people that really make, even though they laid off people, that makes money out the back. Google, Apple, and Microsoft, they all make money. Tons of cash. Everybody else, even though Amazon has high earnings, Amazon has a high burn rate. Borrowed money. I knew they were actually going to have to reduce personnel. First thing I said, but you guys in the Black Brain Trust, y'all supposed to know this. Second thing, you're in the Black Brain Trust. You talk about tech all the time. You talk about tech and money. You work in a capitalist country. It's not a socialist country. Though it's a mixed economy, it's based on capitalism. If tech comes in, so AIs come in, and AIs can take the place of 5 people. You got 10 people, AI can take the place of 5. They're going to lay off 5. You should know that already. And even though I tell you what's going on, guess what happens? Do you guys get it? No, you don't. but you claim that you're the smartest and the best and the brightest. That's the sidebar. I'm just saying, man, you know what? I had to tell Kev last night. I said, this kind of immature, juvenile conduct, fresh and fit, as juvenile as they are, man, fresh and fit doesn't allow this kind of stuff to go on that allows to go on these panels. They don't allow that stuff to go on. Even with the women, when they get started, it might go on for a few minutes, but it doesn't go on continuously. They actually pipe this stuff down. It's actually very well run. Telling Kev, y'all make it hard for larger, and I'm not large, right? I'm not as large as I would like or as large as I probably could be. Y'all allow this kind of stuff to go on. It is hard to promote you. It's hard to support you. It's hard for me to go on somebody's panel and support people when you're attacked. It's very difficult to support people when you're attacked. Every time you go on, you show up on a panel like I did last night, 5 minutes, here people coming in with all this craziness. You allow people up on a panel to talk crap shit about me for 20 minutes without even trying to check them. Hey man, he's not here. Hey, go settle that with BGS. And when I was on the Coliseum, people come in try to attack a person. Hey, you got 2 minutes to get your gripe out because the guy's not here to defend himself. I wouldn't allow people to throw chairs continuously like, hey, one at a time. Now, 2 people that I know that come up there and need to settle a score because this is neutral ground. You guys got 20 minutes to actually get together, go ahead and get it out and let it go. It wouldn't be the whole 8 hours because we're on there for 10 hours, right? I'm not going to sit through 10 hours, you guys screaming at each other like cats. This kind of behavior is hard to support because when I support it, guess who has to hear about this stuff? I have to come defend you guys in this bullshit. So Kev, I told the audience, if this is the treatment I'm going to get every time I come up here, I'm not going to come. Just tell me I'm not welcome here. So you got to tell me I'm not welcome here. I won't come. Because if I was 30, maybe I could handle it. So I was 40, maybe I could handle it. Man, I'm 60. I'm past 60. I don't need this kind of stuff anymore. And I notice the stress is having an effect on me. 8 years of listening to this stuff is starting to take a toll on me. And guess what? All that stuff that you guys are doing, all that back and forth that you guys are doing is not helping anybody. Nothing. The people that are complaining are not trying to improve their channels to make their channels more appealing. You're not doing anything. You're not taking suggestions. You're not taking help. All the people that I've helped, including the PhDs, man, they've all taken suggestions on how to make their channel better. They all have. And these are people that are smarter than me. These guys are well studied. They're well accomplished. They got their CVs. They've been doing this stuff for 20 some odd years. They're well accomplished. They're smarter than me. And they listen. They don't blame the audience. Okay? They listen. How can I improve? What do I need to do? I need to get here. Okay, what subjects should I talk about? How should I present it? They're constantly trying to improve it. That's how you know. That's how you know the difference. They take in new information. Like, God knows, Gigi knows more about philosophy than I will ever know. It's brilliant. But if I say something that is true, he'll incorporate it into his knowledge base. So will Dr. Johnson. So will Dr. Neal. So will Dr. Thunder. You cannot demonstrate to certain people certain knowledge or certain path of knowledge and be correct, and they still won't accept it. So why are you here? Lord knows there's enough people that dislike me to start a whole new sector of YouTube. You could call it the BGS haters and start the BGS haters sector. You're going to get a whole lot of subs. You'll get 10,000 subs, man, overnight. But you won't. Why? Because, I don't know, you're comfortable with mediocrity or what? I have no idea. You have people that are inside the beltway that talk to politicians, say this is the way things are done. And this stuff is, this is effective. But is that what you want? Because I always ask people, what do you want? What do you want out of this space? I want to focus on politics and skills. Yeah, I don't even focus on politics. I have heard nothing And Lord knows you have the whole world turned upside down. There's plenty of stuff to talk about. I have heard nothing about anything that's going on that matters. Nothing. No references, no sound bites, no newspaper clips. Nothing. Because you're afraid to take an unpopular stance. You're afraid to stick your neck out and be wrong. You're afraid to have a unpopular opinion that's based on truth. That's not going to go nowhere. Anyhow, let me get off here before I continue this ramble, man, because I got shit to do and this is getting too long. This BGS out, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.